Hello, it's 9 p.m. in RTD. It's time to English Musician. For tonight headlines, we have online seminar with Mar on the important roles as a regional hub during the pandemic. Organizations of the awareness cleanliness in the approach of national party in Anglais. For the international scene, Brazil becomes the second country in number of COVID-19 deaths. Welcome to our newsroom. Djibouti to host talks between Somalia and Somaliland under the aegis of its Chief Magistrate, His Excellency Ismail Omar Gele. The Republic of Djibouti will end talks between between Somalia and Somaliland tomorrow, Sunday. These talks, which will take place at the invitations of President Gele, are part of the consultation between Somalia and Somaliland. The President of Federal Republic of Somalia, Mr. Mohammed Abdullahi Mohammed, and the President of Somaliland, Mr. Musa Bihi Abdi, and the Prime Minister of Ethiopia, Mr. Abiy Ahmed Ali, will take part in those consultations. The resumption of talks between Somalia and Somaliland is a perfect illustration of the continued determinations of the leader of the region to resolve differences through dialogue. The convening of consultations between Somalia and Somaliland in Djibouti is far from being a precedent. Our country owes that distinction to its diplomacy of neutrality and equal respect and considerations for all political protagonists in the region and for the stability of that part of the world. A video conference was organized yesterday afternoon by the permanent missions of Djibouti to the United Nations. A video conference was organized by the permanent missions of Djibouti to the United Nations yesterday afternoon. The video conference was attended by 30 participants, including the ambassador of Djibouti to the United States, Ziad Douale, the president of the Port Authority, Abubakar Umar Hadi, the representative of United Nations system in Djibouti, Professor Carlos Lopez, the ambassador of the countries to the United Nations such as Ethiopia, Yemen, Morocco, Lesotho, and Guinea, entitled A Conceptual Framework for Understanding the Important Role Played by Commercial and Humanitarian Logistic Bases, the role of Djibouti as a commercial, humanitarian, and logistics that in the difficult period of COVID-19 was at the center of the discussions. Further, the president of Djibouti Port and Free Zone Authority, Abubakar Umar Hadi. The panelists included Dr. Carlos Lopez, professor of University of Cape Town, South Africa, Ms. Barbara Menzi, resident coordinators of United Nations system in Djibouti, Dr. Ahmed Zuitan, who representative in Djibouti, and Mr. Jack Collignon, Director of World Food Program Humanitarian and Logistics Center in Djibouti. This video conference was also attended by other high personalities such as Ambassador, Representative, Coordinator of United Nations System. Mr. Hadi, first of all, retraced the history of Djibouti as an important maritime route and salt exporter. Djibouti has been maritime nation for over 1,000 years. The ancient name of Djibouti was white gold, named after the salt trade from Lakasal, and at 153 meters below sea level, the lowest point of the African continent, exporting salt as far as Timbuktu. In the past, salt was also used as a commodity and currency. He said, in order to further strengthen the geostrategic positions, we are developing a 3+1 model, 2 free trade zones, a financial district supported by modern infrastructure with an international maritime center to increase the maritime connectivity index. The whole of this integrated system is supported by a digitized procedures platform via Djibouti Community Port System. He added, in our network's expansions project, we are also investing in transport infrastructure in southern Sudan, river ports, waterways and transport, seaports in Somalia, and dry port and logistics platforms in Ethiopia, he concluded. On Wednesday, June 10, 2020, a colorful meeting took place between Djibouti parliamentarian and the leader of Comesa Plural Civil Society at the headquarters of their focal point located in the glass buildings of Salam Bank on the 8th floor. This information is a sensitization meeting allowed to the 7 Djiboutians member parliament to give their support after having listened to the ins and outs of these organizations, which was founded by the founders, namely the networks and associations for the training and coaching of youth for development of the Democratic Republic of Congo. We inform you to two focal points are functional, that of Djibouti and that of the Democratic Republic of Congo in Goma, within the framework of the forthcoming meetings to be organized by the Djibouti focal point of Comesa's Plural Civil Society of Djibouti, where will be invited the associations of local merchants, some representatives of Djibouti Free Zone companies, and representatives of focal point of 8 countries to be created very soon by video conference to see together how to further promote inter-African economic relations now that our countries has the largest free zone in Africa. The honorable member of parliament who took part in this morning's meetings and who spoke brilliantly to advance these noble causes which will create jobs and wealth, expressed their gratitude to the government of Djibouti for the support it has given to this noble cause. These were the main lines developed during this morning's meetings in preparations for the upcoming major meetings, which will be devoted to exchanges and South-South cooperations to be organized by the Plural Civil Society of the Comesa, its Djibouti focal point. The National Youth Council of Djibouti, in collaboration with the Artem of Hayabli Association, is organized a day of awareness and cleanup on 27 June to commemorate national independence. This significant and patriotic gesture shows the interest of the country's youth in love and patriotism for their countries. It is a youth of Hayable who today contradicts that all that is happening in the social networks and that Hayable loves their country and peace. This event took place in the presence of the president of Association Artem, Mr. Saeed Abdurrahman, and the Secretary General of the association is Muhammad Farah, and all members of the National Youth Council of Djibouti and Artem Association. A large number of people from the population of Hayable. In his speech, Mr. Muhammad stressed the importance of this equation and the role of associations in education, citizenship, and the fight against COVID-19. For his part, Mr. Farah Hassan Ismail noted that the inhabitants of this district are interested in participating in the development process of the country. The president of the association has indicated that the neighborhood is participating in the cleanup of the area in preparations for the celebration of national holiday. He pointed out that the neighborhood has not witnessed any demonstrations by people of bad faith via social networks because life goes on as usual, but transportation is the buying and selling process. As part of the fight against the spread of COVID-19, the Djiboutian government has decided to close its border until the 1st of September 2020. The closures of borders does not only concern the mobility of people, but also the entry of all illegal goods into our territory. Indeed, the first vehicle corresponding to the alert given was intercepted by gendarmes. During the searches of this vehicle, the gendarmes discovered seized of 14 bags of contraband cat, each containing 13 packages. During the first check, the second minibus-like vehicle in turn forced its way through the roadblock endangering the lives of the gendarmes present at the scene. Immediately, a gendarmerie reinforcement vehicle chased it. While pursuing the trucks, the gendarmes found the minibus abandoned at the height of a bullet, and the driver is fled. An abs was issued against him. The search of this minibus led to the discovery and seizure of 41 bags of cat containing 13 bundles each. In the courses of these operations, the gendarme seized a total of 55 bags of cat and 1,650 packages, and the vehicle used to transport the illegal goods were immobilized at the ESR brigade at Pica 12. As for the smuggled cat, it was destroyed by fire in the presence of customs officers. On the instructions of the President of the Republic, His Excellency Ismail Mergele, and the grievance of the people of Obos to set up a fire brigade unit, today a partnership agreement was signed between the army for the setting up of a fighting vehicle duly armed with the staffs in the presence of the Director of the Civil Protection, Mahmoud Musa Mahmoud, the Prefect of the Oboh region, Mr. Abdul Malik Muhammad Banoita, the Chief of the Corps, Adan Douale, and the President of the Regional Council, Muhammad Hamad Ismail. The responsibility for the personnel and the equipment allocated was temporarily placed under the responsibility of the Chief of Corps of Army until the National Directorate of Civil Protection takes over. In the near future, a fire station will be built in Obok, which will be equipped with sophisticated equipment. It is with great sadness that we learned the death of the late Hussein Roble Ibrahim last week. Hussein Roble Ibrahim, known as Hussein Isaac, began his careers in 1972 with the National Police. He became Deputy Commander of the National Forces in 1977, and then Deputy to the Commissioner of the Republic in charge of the personnel in 1989, before ending his career as Technical Advisor to the Minister of Interior. The late Hussein Roble Ibrahim left us at the age of 67 and leaves behind him 2 wives and 6 children and 9 grandchildren. That Allah, He welcome him in His eternal paradise. Inna lillahi wa inna ilayhi raji'un. For the international scene, COVID-19, Brazil becomes the second most bereaved countries in the world. Brazil became on Friday the second country in the world most bereaved by the COVID-19 pandemic, behind the United States, where several states are registering an influx of new patients, raising fears of a second wave of contaminations, with 41,828 deaths recorded since the beginning of this pandemic. Brazil has surpassed the United Kingdom in the number of coronavirus deaths, the largest countries in Latin America, with a population of 212 million, is also the second largest in terms of the number of contaminations recorded, behind the United States with 828,810 cases. Worrying situations in Brazil. According to WHO, the situation in Brazil is worrying. All the states are affected, said Mike Ryan, the World Health Organization's Director of Health Emergency, on Friday. The health system is not fully saturated, by in some areas there is a strong pressure on the occupancy of intensive care beds. He adding that although under pressure, the country was still managing to meet the demand for hospital beds. Brazil far-right President Jair Bolsonaro, who has been downplaying the pandemic from the outset and advocating the resumption of economic activities, caused an outcry after asking the population on Thursday evening to film hospitals to check their occupations, questioning the lack of respirator and intensive care bed denounced by the caretakers. This is it for the news. Thanks for watching us.